Ladies and gentlemen, X1's Extreme Action continues as we move on to our non-title bout of this evening in the welterweight division. Brought to you by Mark and Angel Iohi and Iohi Brothers Trucking. For hauling, demolition, and equipment moving, Iohi Brothers Trucking. This contest is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us from the Gorilla House and brings in a record of 7 wins, 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Michael the One Brightmon. And his opponent fighting across the ring out of the red corner. Originally from Tonga, now fighting out of Kaneohe. Ladies and gentlemen, he brings in a record of 12 wins, 11 defeats. He is the former X1 lightweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Ice Cold Kolo Koka.
Well, we take a look at the tail of the tape, and the only loss by Brightmon was to Ross the Boss Ibanez, a fight he took with only 1 or 2 weeks' notice, and it's happy. It's good to see Kolo Koka back fighting again.
Definitely had some injuries, like we said before, some back problems, some shoulder. I think, the regular injuries you expect from a guy who's so as active and as much wars as Kolo Koka. But he said he feels good. He took a couple exhibition matches. He said he feels good. So he wanted to come in and try to slowly step it back up. But it's a huge beast in front of him, Michael Brightmon.
Brightmon in the black trunks, Koka in the camouflage trunks. Oh, and a quick exchange of punches. Oh, nice knee by Koka. Brightmon takes his opponent right to the ground.
It's a huge amount of power that kind of even fell weird, was still able to throw over Koka, who's a very, very strong under 70-pounder.
Brightmon came onto the local MMA scene as a polished wrestler. He was a California State 160-pound wrestling champion in high school. And we saw a lot of just his wrestling skills and grappling on the ground. He really didn't develop a punch. Boy, and you and I did the Champions card back in January where he defeated Anthony Torres. And boy, that first round, we saw perhaps the hardest punch thrown by Michael Brightmon to date.
Everybody says he has incredible strength when you grapple with him. But a lot of guys can't convert that type of strength to punching power. We've seen he's definitely able to convert the punching power.
Well, he says he's worked on his hand speed by working up at the Pololo Boxing Gym. So he's working on another aspect of his mixed martial arts game.
He's kind of a stiff type of stand-up guy, but he's got so much power, and his wrestling is so good. And it's a good advantage for him to test out his stand-up, because when he knows he can always go to the ground whenever he wants to. You see Kolo kind of riding his guard up kind of high, trying to set up maybe an arm bar, possibly. Brightmon wants to keep those hips nice and square and flat on that ground.
Referee Chris West pressing the action, telling the fighters to get busy or they're going to stand them up. As Brightman's trying to pass the guard of Kolo Koka, and he does pass it.
Nice job by Kolo getting back up. Kolo can stuff a couple of takedowns. Keep the fight standing a little more, definitely to his advantage.
No, go for that. Yeah, work the legs.
Kind of working on those knees.
Huge foot stomp. And another foot stomp. And that delights the Blaisdell crowd.
Definitely see those toes just shattering underneath the heels of Kolo.
I tried the uppercut, but didn't hit.
It's exactly where Kolo wants to be. Standing up, exchanging.
Oh, nice left by Koka.
Good job of mixing up those punches and kicks as well.
Brightmon misses. That right might have snuck into the jaw of Brightmon.
Kolo's been working on his hands for a long, long time, and you can definitely see every single fight he gets better. And he's one of those guys that you can tell he's working on stuff, but he actually tries it out in the ring, and that's how you're going to get a lot better when you try it in combat.
Well, you talked about those injuries. He had a pinched nerve in his neck, and well, he said it was excruciating. He tried everything, a lot of therapy, and Went to a lot of doctors. And nice overhand right by Koka. On the left and the right. Koka bringing the full arsenal now as Brightmon is in trouble.
Good variety of punches again, and when Brightmon had his hands up, he went back to the legs. Nice setup with his punches with his leg kicks, setting his leg kicks with his punches. Excellent. Back and forth.
Mike, early on, I am seeing the experience of a Kolo Koka taking over the early part of this fight.
Definitely, he's picking them apart, basically, is what's happening here. Brightmon's kind of looking for that one punch. Kolo's punching in bunches. Mixing up those kicks.
Less than 60 seconds left to go here in round one. Brightmon has one hook in and they go out of the ring. And he brings him back in the ring. So I was talking about that neck injury to Kolo Koka.
Get out the backside, this side. Keep going.
He tried everything, a lot of doctors, and he went to a physical therapist by the name of Diane Fernandez, who really killed him with the treatment. But boy, in 2 weeks, everything was all clear, and he was able to resume his training. So the doctor there in Kailua had the miracle touch for Kolo Koka.
They tried chiropractic, acupuncture, everything, just rest, and
said nothing where he thought he was done from fighting because of the excruciating pain. 10 seconds left as they resume in the center of the ring. Brightmon in Koka's guard. And by the time they figure out this jigsaw puzzle, there's the horn signifying the end of round one. So who took that round, Mike Unsuka?
I gotta say Kolo Koka with the more accurate punches. He stunned Brightmon a couple times, but to Brightmon's credit, he has a great chin because he takes a lot of punishment here. Here's the close with those stomps, with those heels, just crushing those toes.
Dropping a bowling ball on your foot.
You have a tendency when you see those toes, you start lifting your feet up, even if you're not. You see those punches right there. Nice crisp turnover punches. Slips it in. Nice straight right that kind of staggers Michael Brightmon right there. Misses with that knee there, but did a good job at, again, switching his punches up, going to knees, going back to legs to open up the punches. Excellent work by Kolo Koka.
Brightmon is a guy that kind of can fluctuate in weight, and so can Koka. In fact, he says he's at his true weight right now at 170. He beat a number of his opponents on his way to 12 wins at 170, and he lost a lot of fights when he dropped down to 155. He said he lost a lot of punching power.
Some guys become more powerful, and some guys just take so much out of them to even make that weight at 155, 160. That's detrimental, and Kolo's one of those guys. He's just a big dude.
So as we start round number two, good exchange of punches right there by both fighters. It's jabbed by Brightmon.
Brightmon's kind of following Kolo's lead by starting off with the kick and following with the punches.
Good overhand right by Koka. It found its mark. Oh, big right hand by Koka. Brightmon ties him up as Koka has his underhooks in.
Brightmon's so difficult to get down. Nice job by Kolo Koka. You know, I've seen guys get real deep on Brightmon, and his rest are able to kind of hip right out of that. This is a huge opportunity for Kolo to have a guy like Brightmon on his back, because he's not the best on his back. If there's one place to have Michael Brightmon, it's on his back.
Koka now, the skilled veteran now, trying to pass the guard of Brightmon. If you try to hit Brightmon in the stomach, he kind of just laughs at you. This is a guy that does 500 to 600 sit-ups a night. You gotta hit him with a baseball bat to make a dent in that stomach.
It shows, man. I don't know what the guy's eating, but
you know, I used to have abs like that.
Mine's still there. I just kind of lost them. I don't know where it went.
They're hiding around the fat.
Then they went in hibernation for the winter, never came back out.
It's Koka now. A hammer throw now. Again and again.
Brightmon doing a good job at trying to block those punches and kind of letting it graze off his forearms.
Fist slaps by Koka. Brightmon just trying to tie up the arms of Kolo Koka, who's in a dominant position now. Now trying to pass the guard. And Chris West is going to bring him back into the center of the ring and reposition in the same way they went out.
Kolo needs to hang onto those legs and make sure that Brightmon doesn't get the foot of the hips and push away and stand back up.
There you go. Your turn, there you go.
He's using a variety of punches like that little back fist and hammer fist. Those are kind of weird because it's difficult to defend those awkward, punches. Simple hand up on the ear or hand up on the forehead doesn't really block those.
Yeah, Brightmon doesn't know where it's coming from. Brightmon trying to hold on to the hands of Kolo Koka.
There you go. Other hand.
How much longer they're just going to keep them on the ground here?
There you go. Keep working.
Supposed to if you're advancing your position and causing damage, and these are not really causing too much damage to Michael Brightmon. Sakuraba, double karate chop there. You can see how strong his grips are. Michael Brightmon's been able to hold Kolo Koka as an extremely strong guy. Can't get his arm down.
Stand him back up and resume the fight here. Perhaps to Koka's advantage. The more true boxer of the two.
Nice right 1-2 combination.
See how Brightmon is ducking his head when he's throwing? Same thing you were talking about. Can't see your target. Might be a sign of fatigue, but you look at a guy like Brightmon, he's just so in shape.
It's definitely a tendency for guys when they exchange and they got hit early to drop their head, and so a lot of it's this inexperience of sparring.
Coming up on 1 minute left to go here in round number 2. Scheduled for 3, Kolo Koka. And the camouflage of Michael Brightmon in the black trunks. Brightmon out of Gorilla House, born in Compton, California, as both go out of the ring. And they will break with 45 seconds left to go. And restart in the center.
Stiff punch there by Brightmon.
I just don't see the intensity that Brightmon showed against Anthony Torres a couple of months ago.
Kind of stumbled him right there at that right.
Brightmon was a lot more active with punching and being more aggressor in that fight. Here he's just kind of following around where Koka takes him.
I think a lot of guys underestimate the amount of conditioning that gets punched out of you. When you take a lot of blows, guys say, oh, they're in great conditioning, but you take a lot of blows, it takes a lot of conditioning out. It's hard to come back. And a couple of those exchanges, as they separated, Brightmon took some deep breaths. We're not used to seeing Brightmon winded. See if Kolo has the conditioning to kind of keep that pace for one more round here.
Kolo Koka at 32 years of old. I asked Brightmon, who is 22 years, so he's given up 10 years. He says, I know Kolo is an old fighter, so I guess this show fits him. But all legends have to come to an end, and I'm the one to do it. The amazing things that get out of these fighters,
exactly.
In the weeks before fight night. He's an old fighter at 32. He's washed up. Well, we got another old fighter coming up, Egan Inoue, 10 years older than Koka. And Egan Inoue, main event still to come here. X1 World Events presents Legends. We are ready to start the third and final 5 minutes. Brightmon and Koka, the veteran and the newbie. Brightmon has come out with a little bit more.
Oh! Big head! And Kolo goes down! And Brightmon is bringing the pain! Right up against the ropes! Koka trying to hold on, and now Brightmon at a full mount! Blood in the water, sensing the end is near. Can Koka fend off the attack?
Kolo's doing a good job at kind of staying busy. Nice escape from the mount there, a little elbow escape there. Brightmon's doing a good job at controlling that wrist. Looking for a little key lock.
Chris West saying no elbows to the head of a ground opponent. Time? They're going to call time.
Legal strike. Legal strike. Elbow to the head.
Chris West is going to say an illegal strike to the head. It was an elbow to the head.
Time to regain. Time to regain. My time.
So they're going to give some time for Kolo Koka to kind of shake it off. An illegal strike by Michael Brightmon. Warned him once and then he did it again.
Kind of an interesting position as well, because he's just about to lock up a key lock, Americana position right there. And, you know, if there's time to do it, when your opponent's a little bit dazed and confused, and that's what it looked like, you know, it does look like it affected Kolo a lot.
Kolo, take his confidence out. Kolo, win the takedown. Win the takedown.
We're going to take a look at the replay. Well, yep, it's the elbow to the head. And he said, Chris West says once, and Brightmon acknowledged, and then he did it again right after that. So in that situation, will they deduct a point? I don't know if he did.
I think normally they get one warning.
Let's take another look as Koka collects himself in the neutral corner.
Bait him in, Kolo. Bait him in.
Kind of locking up the arm, comes in. Nice point that you can kind of see the effect, and Kolo's kind of looking up and saying, hey, that's illegal, man. What's up with that?
If anyone knows it was illegal, it would be Kolo Koka.
Kind of hit him on that jaw, too, which is not a good place to catch an elbow.
I'm just thinking, Kolo Koka and the wars that he's been in, he's taken a lot worse to the head than that.
Definitely. The older you get, the wiser you get. I'm sure he doesn't want to take a lot more of those.
So it certainly can scramble those brains in there. So 4:05 left to go in the third and final round. Chris West looks at Kolo Koka, brings them both to the center, and we are resuming this fight. Right again, the attack by Brightmon.
Ryan's did a good job. It sensed Kolo was tired, and he was really aggressive from the start of this match. And you can see him kind of like dominating, taking the gas that Kolo had out.
Keep that, Kolo. Keep that grip, Kolo. Keep that, Kolo. He cannot hurt you from there. Don't lose, Mike. Reset the middle. Reset the middle, guys. Break. Reset the middle. Fight. Break. Reset the middle.
Okay.
Everybody can hear except for Mike Brightmon right there.
I think everybody heard in the BLAISDELL except for him.
Side.
Get some instructions from his manager there in the corner.
Ready? Right here. Ready? Fight.
3 minutes left to go here in the third and final round.
We're going to try and lock up that key lock again.
There you go. Sit up.
Trying to fight his way from the bottom position.
Trying to make some space by using that arm block right there.
Put your right arm in.
Be careful of that arm.
Push it right over.
Bringing the arm back. Koka won't let him have it.
Kolo, I'll put that in your back. Let's go.
Brightmon once again with the arm. Putting the Glock in, and once again, Koka gets out of it.
He's not doing a good job at keeping Kolo square on the ground.
Kolo, let that hook go.
You can fold that arm underneath, but if you can elevate his hips up and get his shoulder up, it kind of increases the flexibility of the shoulder. Kolo's doing a good job of staying busy. Made it difficult for Mike to lock that arm down and that shoulder down.
Wheeling around is Koka. Can he complete the switch now? He goes back in the guard.
It's a sneaky little switcher. Almost got a sweep out of that.
Good job by the veteran there on his back to avert the armbar.
Close your guard.
Less than 2 minutes left to go here in the third and final round between Michael Brightmon on top and Kolo Koka on the bottom.
Use your position, top man.
Koka was stunned at the beginning of the third round with a flurry of punches and then an illegal hit.
Use your position to stand up.
Be interesting to see if the judges kind of score this a 10-8 because of that knockdown earlier. We dropped him in the corner. Now with him dominating top position, not doing damage, but the damage has been done earlier.
Well, we saw a more aggressive Michael Brightmon here in the third. Kind of lackluster in the first 2 rounds, but really turned it on when he needed to. So he is still trying to get past Koka's guard.
Seems like he's not as effective in the close guard from the cross side and from the half guard. Very effective, very aggressive. He's not as aggressive here where he needs to be.
Less than 60 seconds, and Chris West will stand the 2 fighters up. And Koka shoots in, and a good sprawl defense by Brightmon, who now with side control.
Where it was effective before. He's going to go right after that key lock, see if he can finish this fight.
Hey, right there, make speech. Shrimp. Shrimp out, backside, shrimp.
30 seconds left.
There you go, recover guard.
Nice job by Kolo. He tried to sneak up the back.
Again.
Nice, doing good job of controlling that elbow. If he keeps that elbow up. Whoa, nice job by Kolo by turning this fight.
Finds himself right back in the headlock. Might have been a little too late. Oh, and a nice switch there. But it might be too little too late for Kolo Koka, as this fight will come to an end. And the fate of these 2 fighters rests in the hands of the judges at ringside.
Great fight by both guys. Kolo definitely showing improved stand-up. Was picking him up our first 2 rounds, and an aggression of Michael Brightmon finally showed up in round number 3. But is it a little too late to kind of steal this, maybe steal the draw? If he got that 10-8 round in the 3rd round.
But like we've seen in a lot of Michael Brightman's fights, I mean, he's just a strong guy that just frustrates opponents because he's so strong. He may not be technically sound, but he's strong and he's athletic.
He's a grinder. He kind of grinds out matches and wears guys down, just kind of pummels them and pummels them.
Let's take a look when Kolo Koka kind of hit the deck.
That nice right hand right to the temple there. Boom. See those knees buckle. Sits him right down. Mike did a good job at coming right in, keeping those hips inward. And here's that little bridge.
Almost got it.
That's phenomenal how he stayed on top right there. Got a little shoulder, that one leg, still able to keep the top.
Well, the veteran and the newcomer of MMA, Koka and Brightmon. And we go up to James Brennan, and he has the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards here at the Blaisdell, where all 3 judges are in agreement, scoring it 29-28. Your winner by unanimous decision, Ice Cold Kolo Koka.
Wow, Mike Unzuka, are you surprised?
No, I'm not actually. I thought he won the first 2 rounds, and Michael Brightmon won the 3rd round, so that's exactly what I would have scored at 29-28 for Kolo Koka.
Well, if you talked about the knockdown, well, you said he won that round in probably a 10-8 round. But Kolo Koka winning the first 2 rounds, you say, enough to eke out the decision.
Definitely. MMA, it's difficult to get a 10-8 round, a legitimate 10-8 round. If you kind of come back, you can fight back to a 10-9 round. If you kind of beat the crap out of the guy, then you get the 10-8.